Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade.
And I'm Jay Cohn. Montana Senator Jon Tester finally opens up about President Trump, Twitter, and tractors.
Montana senior U.S. Senator is back on his Big Sandy farm while the VA is still without a permanent secretary.
Tonight we bring you Tester's first and only television interview since the president began to target Montana's senior senator on Twitter.
MTN's Tim McGonigal spoke with Tester on his farm today about his recent unexpected stint in the national headlines.
Senator Jon Tester has temporarily shifted from the Twitter-filled tirades of the nation's capital to the friendly fields of his Big Sandy farm.
Yeah, we're just starting the planning. We'll get done with this probably tomorrow, and then we'll start on the grain.
The ranking member of the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee is about a week removed from shining a spotlight on allegations questioning the qualifications of Dr. Ronnie Jackson, the president's choice for VA secretary.
And Tester started throwing out things that he's heard.
The bottom line is that I think that the president's going to do what the president does, and I'm going to continue to do what I do. And when it comes to working for veterans, I won't take a back seat to anybody.
The allegations include reports of Jackson dispensing prescription drugs on cross-country flights and creating a toxic work environment. Tester says he has no regrets about bringing the allegations to light on national TV, and he knows the dust is far from settled on the issue.
Some people would say, well, geez, are you concerned about the election? You know, we knew it was going to be a tough election. This all was going to happen regardless.
Jackson ultimately withdrew his nomination, and Tester took the president's social media criticism in stride, including damaging information the president claims to have on the senator.
Well, I know things about Tester that I could say too.
I got no secrets, truthfully, and I think that you know, just moving forward, what can tend to happen is you take your eye off of what really needs to be done, and what really needs to be done is we need to get a secretary for the VA.
West of Big Sandy, Tim McGonigal, MTN News.
And MTN News asked the White House whether President Trump has plans to come to Montana to campaign against Tester, but got no response.
And we also asked about the president's comments that he knows things about Senator Tester that are damaging. And again, we received no response.
Well, the 5 Democrats in Montana's U.S. House race squared off tonight in Helena in their only debate before the June 5th primary.
They all made their case as to why they should be the one to take on Republican Congressman Greg Gianforte this fall.
I think we need someone who's both a fighter but also a fixer, that has a record of finding long-term solutions to thorny issues. And it's been 102 years since we first elected a woman to this seat, and it's time Jeanette had a successor.
Kathleen Williams is the only woman candidate among the Democratic field. The other candidates include Billings attorney John Heenan, former Land Trust Director Grant Keir of Missoula, and Bozeman lawyers Jared Pettinato and John Meyer. The debate tonight at the Montana Historical Society was streamed live statewide on MTN stations, websites, and many radio stations as well.
Now, Meyer says he's an independent thinker and can show that a low-budget campaign can win. Pettinato, the only Montana native in the group, said his moderate profile and Montana roots make him the best choice for Democrats. Heenan talked often about his work as a lawyer fighting dark money and said he's a true populist for the people, unlike Trump, whom he said hasn't delivered on populist promises. And Keir said he's an independent voice that will speak strongly for Montanans and not follow anyone's preset agenda.
We need someone who can work with the president when appropriate and hold the president accountable to his campaign promises, which were $1 trillion of infrastructure that hasn't materialized, a better healthcare system that hasn't materialized, and draining the swamp. This is as swampy as we've ever been.
I am not here to push anyone's agenda but Montanans' agenda. Where there are places that Donald Trump's agenda lines up with what we're trying to do in Montana and what I think is right and what people ask me to do, I'm happy to work with him on that. I believe that he is actually working closely with Greg Gianforte to undermine a lot of the things that Montanans do value and want to see.
Absentee ballots for the June 5th primary will be mailed out a week from Friday.
Meanwhile, in Washington, the House chaplain, it turns out, is not resigning after all.
Father Pat Conroy sent a letter to House Speaker Paul Ryan today rescinding his resignation. Now, Ryan originally asked Conroy to step down, but after a week of backlash from House members in both parties, today accepted Conroy's decision to stay. Now, Conroy has served as the chamber's chaplain since 2011.
Conroy is a Jesuit Catholic priest viewed by some as too liberal. Both Conroy and Speaker Ryan are planning to meet sometime next week.
Another reversal today. President Trump now acknowledges he paid back his lawyer for hush money given to adult film star Stormy Daniels. But the president insists they weren't campaign dollars. Angelica Alvarez has details from the White House.
One of the newest members of the president's legal team, Rudy Giuliani, made the revelation on Fox News that President Trump reimbursed his personal lawyer $130,000 to silence adult film star Stormy Daniels.
Funneled through the law firm, and the president repaid it.
President Trump tweeted Thursday morning calling it a monthly retainer, and that money from the campaign played no role in this transaction. It's a reversal from what the president said just last month aboard Air Force One.
Did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels? Do you know where he got the money to make that payment? No, I don't know.
Legal experts say the payment is troubling.
That looks like a structure of money. And when you use the word funnel or facilitate, that doesn't look good.
Staffers were stunned by Giuliani's admission, and the White House fended off questions about its own credibility.
I gave you the best information that I had, and I'm going to continue to do my best to do that every single day.
A lawyer for Stormy Daniels says the president and his team are trying to rewrite history.
The president and his advisors are making this up as they go along. They realize they are in a heap load of trouble.
President Trump denies having an affair with Daniels and said the settlement was to stop her false accusations. Angelica Alvarez, CBS News, the White House.
Back here at home, Helena's assistant superintendent of schools says yes to become the next superintendent of Billings School District 2. Greg Upham accepted the position today, just one day after the district's first pick turned down the job. Billings School Board Chair Greta Bash-Moen says Upham has agreed to a base salary of $165,000. He's been the assistant superintendent in Helena since 2012. He started his education career in the Browning Public Schools in 1988. Moen says the Board of Trustees is 100% behind Upham and plans to vote to approve his contract on the 21st of May.
He has worked collaboratively with colleagues and members of our staff, and I think we'll have an easier way to transition into our district than somebody that was coming in brand new. He has a great vision for our district. From a scholastic standpoint, he's looking to increase educational opportunities for students. He's done that in Helena. He's data-driven, and he has a real passion for education and a passion for kids. And I think it's a great fit for our district.
Upham is set to begin his new job here on the 1st of July. Dr. Ross Kaysen from New Jersey, who was offered the superintendent's job over Upham, told the board he was impressed with Billings schools but declined the job because he said now simply not the right time for him to make such a big professional and personal change.
On the weather scene, Bob, with all the flooding, it's hard to think about drought, but we all will never forget last summer's fires.
In fact, we're going to talk about that and our drought monitor. We're going to go back in time to September of last year. You remember this? During the Lodgepole complex of fires up in northeastern Montana, we had the worst drought we had seen in a long time up there. And you'll notice, look how wide that was. A quarter of the state was in exceptional drought. Now, let's go fast forward about 8 months and look what happens. All of a sudden, that drought is just about all but dried up in the extreme northeast corner of the state. So where is the drought this year? It's a little bit farther south, from eastern California all the way through into the Texas, Oklahoma panhandles and parts of Kansas. They've already had their fire season begun there just last month, and it looks like the drought continues to worsen in that areas. Our forecast, though, is looking pretty nice. We're looking at comfortable temperatures, even a chance for some rain. Details in a few more minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Bob.
The east entrance to Yellowstone National Park opens tomorrow morning. Of course, that's weather permitting.
Now, the east entrance road goes over Sylvan Pass, which is subject to sudden closures due to avalanche concerns. Once over the pass, the east entrance road leads to Yellowstone Lake and eventually north to Canyon. Now, this video is from 2008. You can see just how deep the snow can pile up on a snowy year, much like this one.
And next, check out the video from 2011, video of driving through Sylvan Pass here on the 30th of May, and look how deep the snow was in 2011. And with warm temperatures forecast this weekend, park officials warn that a sudden meltdown could force a temporary closure of Sylvan Pass. And here's the information. You can find out the status of the road texting 82190 to 888-777, and that'll get you an automatic reply on the latest road conditions on Sylvan Pass.
Coming up next on tonight's 10 o'clock news, after a CBS report, hundreds of people are now seeing hope all across the country. We'll show you how.
Plus, creativity running wild in these kids, and one of them will be printed into women's run history.
And in sports tonight, Scott checks in with an 11-year-old bowling prodigy headed to Dallas for nationals.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Cohn and Jeanelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.